Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Uh, Today I've got sort of something a little special, I think. I was sent this watch to take a look at and give my opinion on. This is a Edouard Koehn. I would probably call it Edward Koehn or something like that. Koehn. It's called the World Heritage 2. Now, for some time now, I've been looking for a world timer, and this one, I got to tell you, would certainly be in contention. Let me see if I can tell you very quickly how it's all set up. Right here, you have two crowns. The top one winds the mainspring for the timing of the watch, and the bottom one winds I guess you'd call it the mainspring for the alarm. So in addition to being a world timer, it also has an alarm on it. Um, you can tell the difference. There's a little I don't think you can see it here, but a little bell shaped image on the alarm one. The way this works is really very cool. You have a set. You can probably see it better over there in the picture. You have like a gray background from 17 to 7 with a little sun at the top right up here of the disc, and then you have it black at the bottom, representing day and night. And what you do is using this top crown, you turn a disc to where you are. Like I'm in New York, and let's take a look at the one on the picture there. You can see it's on 15. Well, what is 15? 15 is 1500 hours, which is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then if the and you can see that's where New York is. And so as it moves around, the New York will be taken all around the world, so to speak. Probably will be as the Earth turns. And so you can see any one of the cities depending on where you are. For example, I have Cairo, Dubai, all of these different major cities, London, Paris, and oh, well, they don't have Paris, they have Geneva. And anyway, these are made of titanium. Now, I've got to tell you, I've never really been too hot on titanium. And the reason is that I never felt the nice heft that steel has, or well, more so gold or platinum. But this one has just right amount of heft. It doesn't feel sort of flighty and light, and it doesn't feel overly heavy, but it's got nice heft on it. And it's got a sapphire front and back to it. And it's got the arrow. You can see it down here. That's the red arrow is the alarm arrow. So you set the alarm uh, down here, and you move the arrow around to where you want it. And then up here, you set both the time and the time zone. And so you have 3 clicks, of course, all the way in, and then you click it out a little, and then you can move the disc with the time with your city on it, and then you move it out, and then you can move the hour and the minute hands. The color and the sort of the overall just looks of the thing and the feel of it is great. They have different colors. I'll take a look at those in a bit. They have a matte gator strap on it, at least on this one. And then they have a deployant buckle on it. I had the deployant on, and it works fine, but I wanted to sort of stretch it out so you could see it a little better rather than having it wrapped up on my wrist. Now, the movement is sort of interesting. It's a company called Concepto, And Concepto is a is a movement making company. They make watch movements, and I've never been quite sure where they belong in sort of the hierarchy. They're not really high end, they're not really low end. They're sort of a middle end for a movement maker. Now, this is what the write up had about this, and from looking at a lot of different things, I think they were right about it. The base movement for hours, minutes, and seconds with a center second is a Concepto 2220, but in looking at the entire line of movements by Concepto, I didn't see any of them that had the crown at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And the Edouard Koehn was had talked about how he worked with Concepto to make this one special. Now, it has two barrels. One barrel is for the time, and the other barrel is for the alarm. It's not a serial or a parallel barrel. They're sort of two independent barrels on that. It runs at 4 hertz, 28,800 semi-oscillations an hour. It's got a 4 hertz, 48-hour power reserve on it. And in the back, one of the things that you can see is the finishing is pretty good. It's not great, but it's not nothing by a long shot. It's a nice one. Looking at the blued screws and the overall finishing, the rotor itself is relatively plain, but it's got a lot of information on it. If we look at the different kinds of models they have, they're all the same except they have a different colors, and that's it. And they have a band that goes with the color. The white one has a brown band, and but the other ones have a color that's somewhat near the color of the dial. The green one has very clear the green strap and a green dial on it. The dial itself is guilloche, and then it has applied indexes around here, and the indexes all have what's called, let's see, superluminova, and also on the hands as well. You have that. So this is you have a range of it. Now, the list price on this is $99.50. So it's not an inexpensive watch, but it's not impossibly expensive either. Now, and looking close up at the movement, here are a couple things. It has 31 joules. Now, and looking at the basic ones in Concepto, the 2220 that they have, it has several fewer than 31 joules. So it's just sort of indication that they've added a lot. One of the most interesting things about the Concepto movement was the regulator. And the regulator has I'm not sure whether it's the kind of regulator that you take something and just push the little arrow left and right. I didn't see an adjustment screw in it that you have with your typical swan neck on it, but it's really a very interesting one. It's adjusted to 5 positions. Now, this is important. When something is adjusted to 5 positions, they spend some time getting it right on that, and so I really appreciate that on this particular watch. Now, the final thing I did was take a look at it on the time grapher, and it was it's called dial up, crown up, dial down, and crown down. So I ran it through those 3 things, those 4 different positions on it, and on the first one, the amplitude and the beat error were perfect, or they're just fine. It was 5 seconds off a day, which is pretty typical for a non-COSC watch. Now the crown up, when it was like this, it had the least quality of performance. It was off by 8 seconds. The amplitude was off. It was at 240, and it should be at least 270. The amplitude is the degree of swing on the balance wheel. I don't know why it was like that. The beat error again was excellent. Anything below zero point 0.6 milliseconds is excellent, and the worst that this got was 0.1, and part of it was 0. Now, on the other hand, with the dial down, it did what would be considered excellent. Minus 3 seconds a day. The amplitude was good, and again, the beat error was too. And the same thing with the crown down. Both the dial down and crown down, they did very, very well on both of them in terms of both the rate, the amplitude, and the beat error. The only thing that seemed to have was this position right here with the crown up. That could have been for a lot of reasons, including the testing. Anyway, I found it to be a very interesting watch, and I would very much like to hear what you think about it, and let me know. And of course, this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection.